morning. We're glad you're here. We'll start shortly. Happy Sunday. Good morning and welcome to our open house. This is our Prospect Sierra Elementary School. If you didn't have a chance to see the beautiful photos that share the story of who we are as a school, don't worry. This is being recorded and you'll have a chance to look at them later, but I could look at those all day. And I am thankful that I don't have to just look at photos, that I get to be here every day with our kids on both this campus and our middle school campus. My name is Nisa Frank and I am the head of school. You are going to hear from me for just a little bit this morning, but we'll get to know each other even better throughout this journey. But you're also going to be able to hear from some of the folks who can give you a sense of who the school is from varying perspectives. So you'll hear from Kise, our elementary school division head. You'll hear from a number of faculty members, including teachers from kindergarten through fourth grade, Betty and Kyla. You'll hear from Sophia, our school counselor. You'll get an overview of our specialists, teachers who are here at our school, and even understand what that is. Some of you may not have specialists within your institutions. We are very lucky to have some awesome ones. And then you'll get the parent perspective from two of our wonderful Tapscott parents, Zubin and Michael. And then you'll hear from our admissions team, specifically from Renee, and maybe from Beth, but I know it's from Renee, about our next steps in the process. So let's get started. First of all, I'm Nisa. The kids call me Nisa. That's who I am here at school all day, every day. And I am the head of school of the most wonderful, loving, caring community I could possibly imagine. I did not start off as a head of school. I actually went to grad school 22 years ago to be a teacher. And I started off in early childhood education. So I got my graduate degree in early childhood development, became an associate teacher and then a lead teacher for about 7 years. And then I did many, many other roles in administration, probably more roles in administration now than I did in the classroom. And so 22 years ago is where I started. I spent a lot of time in New York City, about 12 years in New York, just forming who I am now. There's a much longer story before that in education, but I'll just say, you know, I'm a Bay Area native, though I spent that time in New York. I'm from Berkeley, California, born and raised. Most of my family is here by way of the South. And I've been in independent schools my whole life. So we will talk more about that. Come to one of our coffees another time to hear more of that story. But I spent 22 years in education. I've been at Prospect Sierra for 5 years. This is my 5th year. And I think this year is probably the most exciting for me because I've learned a ton coming into a headship where you are facing many, many layers of the job, but also handed a pandemic is something that allows you to learn really fast. And I think the biggest thing that I learned was that our community is as loving, as caring, as committed in the face of chaos as we are in the face of calm. And that is a beautiful thing. Our community experienced hard and challenging times just like anybody else, but we did not break. In fact, we are now here many years later, stronger than ever. And so I feel extreme gratitude to be a part of this community and so excited that you're going to get to hear from so many wonderful people that make it this way in the moments to come. So this is my 5th year as a head of school. I feel like I've gotten my bachelor's degree and master's degree in Prospect Sierra and now can move on to my PhD maybe. The one thing that I am just learning how to do, and I don't think I'll ever have a PhD in, is this is my first year being a mom. So that's my son, Eli. He is 1 year old, just 2 weeks ago. Many of those photos you saw in the beginning video were about a year ago. Some of them I was like, I think I'm pregnant. I hope I'm pregnant. And it just brought back a lot of memories of the beginnings of this journey for me. And again, as a parent who is also a head of school, my job is hard, just like anybody else who is doing multiple roles in their life. And I am, again, just grateful for a community that allows me to be both things all the time. So that's my first year as head of school. I mean, as mom, I want to tell you a little bit more about the head of school part of my job. One of the pieces of work that I get to do on a pretty regular basis, but definitely every maybe 5 years or so, is think about the school strategically and think about our strategic priorities. And something that we did in the past 3 to 4 years is we looked at our mission statement and we said, is this who we are now? The school is about 26 years old and it's had the same mission statement since its founding. And we looked at it and we said, yeah, that is who we are. That's the core of who we are, but we want to make this mission statement even clearer for those who are seeking out our school so that they can understand what we're trying to do every day and what drives us in our decision making. My suggestion to you as parents or as adults who are looking at this community for the children you care for is, as I read this mission statement, I want you to envision your family and the names of the people in your family and how you see yourself in your daily lives at home. And my hope is that while it's not going to be exactly how you create your mission statement for your family in your own homes, it should feel very much aligned. Prospect Sierra inspires and equips students to create a more inclusive and just world through deep and meaningful intellectual engagement, self-knowledge, and care for others. That is our mission statement. That mission statement is sort of being held up, if you can imagine, by 4 core values. Those are love, justice, innovation, and impact. Again, as we did our strategic thinking process, we asked our community why you chose Prospect Sierra, and then why do you choose to stay every day, year after year. And those 4 core values are what came from our community. We are not afraid to say the word love. In fact, it is the reason why everyone walks through the doors with the same energy and commitment that they do every day, is because they're leaving their families to come here and be a part of another family. And without love, I don't think we'd be able to see our kids through the lens that we do, which is one of deep, deep commitment and joy in understanding who they are individually and how dynamic they are as a collective. So those are our core values. Those core values and that mission help us then to create strategic priorities. So we're going back to those each time we think about the decisions that we're making as a school. Our 4 strategic priorities for now, which again, they're 4. We have a million other things that we're working on, but these are the ones that we're going to put some focus, resource, time, and attention into so that they can become even stronger in our school. The first is we are integrating across our efforts integrating across our efforts in change making, equity and inclusion, social emotional learning, and ecological literacy to deepen our rigorous program. Number 2, we're creating more opportunities for students to gain agency and voice in their learning as true ecosystem partners. We're designing open pathways for educators to grow professionally and enhance their wellness. And last, we're strengthening our financial sustainability by developing creative connections to Prospect Sierra Learning. 2 exciting things that align with some of those strategic priorities that I want to share with you. And again, these are kind of like ways to just get you excited. We're going to talk about all of these things in deeper ways and more expansive ways throughout the admission process. But these are things that I want you to be writing questions about. You know, I would love to hear questions later on in the process of like, Nisa, tell me an example of strategic priority number 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'd be happy to. I have been told I don't have enough time to do that today, so I'm not. But 2 of the things that we are excited about, one is the Pearson Fellowship. That is a program that allows for teachers, new teachers, associate teachers, we call them in our community, who are underrepresented in independent schools to apply to our school as an associate teacher. And if they are selected for the Pearson Fellowship, we pay for their graduate school education. That program was started by a very generous donation by someone who was a teacher at our school and understands the importance of diversity within our teaching faculty as essential for all of our students to learn and grow in the ways that we want them to. So the Pearson Fellowship was started last year. It's continuing to go, and we are excited that it actually will go on forever. The next program is the Equity Action Program that actually applies to our middle school, but as some of you may have both elementary and middle school students, or your students will be middle schoolers one day, that program is started to increase our socioeconomic diversity within our middle school and within our school as a whole. That program is designed to have at least 2 to 4 full grants given to a family so that they can come to our school and not have any impediments to being here, that their focus could just be on being a parent and being a student. And there are so many families in our local community that don't even see independent school as an option. And so our job is to make sure that more and more people understand that they are valued here and that they belong here. And so the Equity Action Program is designed to do just that. I could say more, but I'm not. I'm going to pass it on to Kise, our wonderful elementary school division head.
Thank you, Nisa. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here with us this afternoon. I'm delighted to share a little bit more about our school and about myself with all of you. Throughout my journey as an educator, I've always looked for a school with our core values: love, justice, innovation, and impact. These values are at the foundation for how we help children navigate the world, both critically and compassionately. We believe that when they leave Prospect Sierra, the students will become people who have the knowledge, skills, and tools to make the world a better place. But before I go on, I'm going to share just a little bit about myself, beginning with that first picture on that slide of young me with my mother. My mom raised me here in the Bay Area in Oakland, California, and she is the foundation of the love and support in my life, who encouraged me to follow my dreams and believe in myself. I, in turn, have made that a goal to do that for every child I have worked with. And that 4-year-old me in the picture also needed a safe and welcoming school, similar to what we have here at Prospect Sierra. And what I felt my very first day here on this campus, and what we strive to give all of our children. Because when we give children the opportunity to recognize their own capabilities, see themselves reflected in the curriculum, and the chance to engage in real-time events that impact our communities and the larger world, we are not only leading by example, but we're also learning from our children. Throughout the past 17 years, I've been in education. I have been fortunate enough to have taught in both public and independent schools. So you'll see those two classroom pictures on the screen are some of my first classrooms, again, in both the public and private settings. And I've been fortunate enough to be a leader and an administrator in both settings. And I found myself carrying the same values, no matter what school I was in, to give children that exposure to a love of learning and to make sure that we're centering their experience and guiding them with love and compassion. You can't have a love of learning without joy, which leads me to that next picture on the screen of me in a donut costume. Yes, that was Halloween last year here at Prospect Sierra, because I just had to highlight that we have fun, because no matter what we're doing here, every challenging moment we get through with some laughter and some love. Learning happens in every moment. So a moment like that actually taught me a lot about kids' favorite desserts. Once they saw a donut on me, they came up and shared all about what they loved when in this land of sweets. And also leadership is essential. So that last picture on the screen is a picture of me and Nisa, who you just heard from, because listening with love and centering our student experience is what we do at the heart of our administrative team. And we're fortunate enough to have Nisa leading us all the way. So on this next screen, you'll see some examples of the different classes that our students get to take. Our teachers at Prospect Sierra get to know the students as individual learners, friends, and people. The individual knowledge allows them to meet students where they are and to help students thrive in the classroom. When students enter our classes at either the TK or kindergarten level, they'll be exposed to all of these programs right away. From music to Spanish to science, our youngest community members begin to learn all that our school has to offer. We create engaging lessons that are based on not just the subject matter, but also the capacities of students' interests. So we really let students help us create what they're learning in the classroom. It's a powerful moment to observe a first grader publishing a book when handwriting or writing may have been a hard moment for them. Or a kindergarten building a story with Magnetiles and then beaming from ear to ear to share that storyline with you. Our progressive education approach gives our students a deeper connection to their learning and a sense of ownership of their own accomplishments. A critical part of how we support our children's academics is also by supporting their social emotional learning, highlighting for kids the importance of prioritizing their own emotions and feelings. It allows them to be supported and also secured in their learning process. We allow them to develop an understanding of concepts, and we teach them at different paces, really matching what their needs are, and we strive to understand what they need in order to make this happen. This could be a second grader sharing their favorite book to you as an adult on the playground, maybe during recess, or a fourth grader presenting their math thinking while solving a problem during Number Corner. We hold our values of love, innovation, justice, and impact at the heart of our lessons, and then we get to watch their curiosity blossom. Both our student support team and our extended program are important examples of how we hold and support the full child. From academic support to enrichment classes after school, we are able to see how all of the experiences on campus impact their learning and growth. And I'm excited that you'll be able to hear a little bit more from both of those programs in a little bit. On the next slide, you'll see some schedule examples. We recognize that small class sizes give students access to teacher attention. We do small group lessons and we differentiate instruction. With 2 teachers in every classroom, both a lead and an associate teacher, in all of our homeroom classes, grades TK through 4th, our students are able to dive into learning, and they'll know that they will be surrounded by support from their teachers and from their peers as we center collaborative work. The structure of our classrooms are based in responsive classroom practices, and we invite children to model and lead the way for how they want to feel while learning. Giving access to teacher attention and engaging learning follows their intrinsic motivation. And then we see a real joy come out of the students while they're in those lessons. You'll see that specialist classes are woven throughout their day. And you will see that this also allows for academic rigor, interactive learning, critical thinking, and creative play. Our homeroom and specialist classes also allow for flexibility to meet a diverse group of learners. Our school environment and the people in it believe that joy and learning the power that joy and learning can bring to a child's life. And we're lucky to see it in every aspect of their day. Now I'm excited to share a short video with all of you from our kindergarten team, and they will give you a little snap into what it looks like in the kindergarten classroom. Our first kindergarten set of teachers are Robin and Wes. Robin is our kindergarten lead teacher and has been with us for 18 years. And Wes is her associate teacher, who's the third year with our kindergarten team. And they just really open their arms and love those children every moment of the day, teaching them all kinds of skills. Betty is here on the screen. She is our other lead kindergarten teacher. She has been teaching for 11 years and has been with Prospect Sierra for the past 2. And Carly is a new associate teacher in her class who also both open their arms up to welcome our littlest kids into their classrooms while teaching them foundational skills. So I'm excited to show you a video of them speaking to you.
Hey, my name is Betty Chan, and I teach kindergarten here. This is my second year at Prospect, but my 11th year in the class.
Technical difficulty in the land of Zoom, friends.
What I love most about kindergarten is that it's such a balance of figuring out who the kids are, in addition to infusing some of the structures of school and the elements of learning that they so deeply are wanting to engage in. When we look at academics in kindergarten, what I love about the academic piece is that it's super flexible. We use our curriculum as a guiding post for what we talk about, but we also are open to how they take the curriculum, and we are flexible in how we change what we do based off of their interests. And one very simple example is every day they come in and they answer the question of the day. And in California, fall is happening even if it doesn't look like it outside. And we ask the children, what do you love about fall? And this list provides us an opportunity to tap into what they know about fall and how we can extend their experiences. And that's what I love about kindergarten. Last week we made a stew based off of a question about a field trip to the farm that we took and what we should do with all these vegetables that we collected. And so I love that there's openness, but there's also elements of structure. For math, we use the Bridges in Math curriculum, which encompasses math talks, where we as a group talk about numbers, talk about sequencing and patterning. We also use these math talks time to find different ways to approach the same solution. And for kindergartners, it's really exciting to know that their answer is right and their friend's answer is right. We also, in the math curriculum, use workplaces, which is an opportunity for us to scaffold the more explicit skills that encompass the math learning in kindergarten, whether it be patterning or number writing or subitizing from 1 to 5. And then the last part of our math curriculum is our number corner, which is a daily routine that the students have become masters at this point, and they lead this learning. It encompasses the calendar, it encompasses counting how many days we've been in school, counting by tens, leading their peers in a conversation about theories on the patterns and their predictions, and showing leadership in that way. And then one final way that math is in our classroom is that it's infused in every element of our day, whether it is figuring out how many kids are at school today, how many kids are in each half group, or spatial awareness in terms of how your library book fits into your backpack. And so that is our math curriculum. And in terms of literacy, we use the Being a Reader curriculum starting in kindergarten, where similar to our math curriculum, it is a structure that we are flexible with based on where the students are in their learning. It starts off with whole group lessons to really build their phonemic awareness and fluency and automaticity. And then they have the opportunity to engage in literacy rotations where they can practice these skills in small group with a small group of peers and support one-on-one from teachers if they need it, and also extensions if they're beyond what we are working on in the classroom. Being a Reader also has a wonderful shared reading element where we read books, we enjoy books together, we talk about elements of a story, character setting, plot, and that really balances well with our humanities curriculum in kindergarten, where we spend a lot of time talking about who they are and who they are in our community and how our community can impact the greater community of Prospect Sierra. And as kindergartners, it's something really cool to come in being the youngest on the campus, but then having the opportunity to also become leaders in their learning and to show the older kids what they know. And that's a really wonderful experience for them. We also, in kindergarten, have the opportunity to engage in social emotional learning through an explicit curriculum called Kimojis, where they are practicing all of the emotions that exist in the world, easy ones like happy, friendly, calm, to hard ones like sad, frustrated, angry, upset, because all of these emotions exist in the world and it's important for them to be able to practice.
Well, Betty's not here right this moment, but I just want to shout out to thank Betty for showing us her classroom and sharing a little bit about what happens in our kindergarten classroom, especially as we dive into curriculum. And now I'm honored to introduce Kyla, who is one of our fabulous fourth grade teachers, and she's going to share a little bit more about a day in the life of a Prospect Sierra student. Thank you, Kyla.
Thanks, Kise. Hey, everybody. My name is Kyla Wamberg. I'm one of the fourth grade teachers and have been at Prospect Sierra now for 7 years. When I first came to Prospect Sierra, my plan was really only to stay for 2 years while I was getting my master's in education as an associate teacher here at Prospect. But I quickly fell in love with this school due to just how mission aligned we are and truly how joyful I felt coming to work every day. Not only do I get to teach in probably the most incredible classroom with the most magnificent view of the bay, there's a magic at this school where adults and students just simply want to be here. On the screen, you can see me as a little fourth grader, which I like to show parents at the beginning of the year. And it's a good reminder for me too, to just remember what I was like when I was in fourth grade and just how delicate this age is. I've been in many school settings in my lifetime, starting when I was a young child in my mother's classroom. So my mom has been a teacher in the Bay Area for over 30 years. And as a child, she would let me write the schedule on the board while I would fake teach all my stuffed animals as she prepped for the next day's lessons. So I really grew up in the classroom. I like to say that teaching was more of a calling than a choice. And while I really do enjoy working with adults and parents and my colleagues, I am much happier being with kids all day long because I'm just so inspired and amused by their wonder and their imagination and just their unbridled curiosity. One of the many reasons I'm really passionate about teaching is because I am witness every single day to just how hard children work, day in and day out. Right now, we are asking so much of our kids, and that grit and dedication and joy that they show every single day is really inspiring for me to be around. My teaching approach to make that kind of hard work sustainable is to really invest in the relationships that I have with my students. as well as foster the relationships that they have with each other and within the classroom community. Relationships are the foundation of what we all need to succeed. And in building those connections throughout the year is perhaps the favorite part of my job. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how we welcome new fourth grade students. It's not just kindergarten where we welcome new students, but almost every year we welcome new fourth graders to our community. And every year I'm witness to just how students seamlessly integrate into the fabric of our school. And I believe it's partially because kids are just so resilient, but it's also because Prospect Sierra does a really incredible job at making kids feel like they belong whenever they join the community. The way that we welcome new fourth graders is that we pair them with another family that's been here for a while so that there's a place to go to if there's any questions or if they need any support throughout the transition. In the classroom, we also pair students with another student or sometimes even two students, and they're really responsible for being with that new student for the first few weeks and sitting with them at lunch and introducing them to the specialists and showing them where everything is on campus. One of my favorite traditions that we do in fourth grade is at the end of our very first day together, we ask students to share appreciations with the other students who are new. And every single year we have almost 100% participation of kids really wanting to share their appreciations for a new student and just how brave they are. In fact, last year I had a student raise their hand and say, "It just feels like you've always been here," our new student. And I really do feel that way too, that after just a couple of days or weeks, it really feels like new students have been here all along. Before the school year starts, we also give new students an opportunity to meet with our teachers and in the classroom before school starts. And so that on the first day of school, they have a familiar face. We take new student integration really seriously, and we know that it will take more than just a couple of weeks to acclimate to a new school. And so our goal is for building relationship really last throughout the whole year. Lastly, I want to talk about just one of the how to address all these academic needs that we have with every single student. One of my primary jobs as a teacher is to support all of my students' learning and to meet students where they are. A visual that we like to use to guide the teaching is to offer a low floor and a high ceiling and to ensure that there is space for really every kid. We accomplish this by what Kisei was talking about, is just how our classroom is set up. We have small class sizes. We have 2 teachers per class. We have an incredible learning specialist. A specific example of how we are currently supporting all academic needs is that right now we're in that famous fraction unit in fourth grade. And this past week, I did a small lesson for the whole group about how to find equivalent fractions. And then we were able to really split up into 4 different groups. And so I was able to pull a few students and use manipulatives and sit with specific students and get out our whiteboards and really, really have targeted practice for a specific skill. My associate teacher, Zenaida, she was able to pull a few students outside and they got to work in partnerships. And then another group was able to work independently at their desk with buddy blockers or noise canceling headphones if they needed it. And our learning specialist was able to pull out a small group for students who just needed a quieter space and even a little bit more reteaching. So just that ability to have that much accommodation for every student is really, really beautiful and incredibly supportive as a teacher. These groups also fluctuate all throughout the year. So students have opportunities to work closely with the teacher, and they also have opportunities to work independently. And so that they can really foster that positive relationships with themselves and with math. So thank you for allowing me to share some of my passions. And I really look forward to seeing all of you on a tour, hopefully very soon. And I would like to introduce Sophia next, who's our school counselor.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. As Kyla said, thank you, Kyla. I'm Sophia. I'm the school counselor, or kids sometimes call me the feelings teacher. I've been at Prospect Sierra for 5 years after 10 plus years in school and clinical settings and child mental health of various types. Let's see, my background coming into school psychology, my parents were both educators. My grandfather was a psychiatrist, and I've always just loved working in school-based mental health. So I feel just so happy and fortunate every day when I come to school. And as Kyla said, our community of educators, our faculty and staff are just amazing friends and colleagues to work with. And so I just really value that community aspect, both the child-centered community and also our adult community on campus. I am part of our student support team. So I work with Max and Isabel, our 2 learning specialists. And really my role is, I have my role in all the ways that I participate in our community, but really I'm part of this much bigger village of educators working to infuse social emotional learning into most aspects of our curriculum. So I love it when I go into PE and I realize, yes, they're working on skills or drills, but really they're working on cooperation or self-regulation, learning how to navigate disappointment. I love going into music and seeing that Kelly is really working on attention skills, to listening, to helping kids find something and transcend something that's bigger than themselves. And then, our art teacher, when I see in art, they're working on drawing facial expressions, or, in science, they're learning about the brain. So in so many ways, I feel like our whole curriculum really speaks to social emotional learning and growth. And I'm just one piece of that puzzle. I work at the student, parent, and teacher level. And, with students, really, we take a proactive approach to mental health. I push into TK through first grade for social emotional learning circles that take various forms and are hopefully new and refreshing for kids each week. But really, we work on understanding temperament, understanding communication, understanding self-regulation, and then, interpersonal skills building, so that we learn how to develop friendship skills, what to do when we're feeling lonely, how to engage at recess. So that is a lot of fun and very joyful. And then, as I start knowing kids from when they're quite small, then what I sometimes will push into second, third, or fourth grade when a more explicit lesson is needed around something that might be bubbling up for that cohort. In third grade, it might look like a lesson on learning about our inner coach and our inner critic. In fourth grade, it might be looking at our strengths and how our strengths are a big part of our identity. So, I'm also out at recess, and sometimes we'll have small social skills groups or friendships groups to help kids who are just trying to find their place in what can feel like a big community. When our kindergartners move on to our bigger yard, it's a big space. And so helping kids find that voice to be able to step into play, or be able to assert their preference, or to be able to say, can I play too? So there's always something happening at recess, and third or fourth grade recess gets a little more active and dynamic. And sometimes there we need to just slow it down and help figure out, how are we playing together, and take a closer look, because really that sense of self and in play that kids find is really central to their school experience and who they are kind of socially with their friends. With parents, I often will meet with parents to talk about something that's coming up developmentally for their child, or a transition for their family. We do have a series of parent coffees throughout the year, as well as different speakers who might come in on a various topics related to parenting. And then, with teachers, I get to collaborate with them frequently. Sometimes students with, other needs we might be collaborating with an outside provider, or we might be doing other teamwork to really take a closer look at maybe a group of kids, or a couple of students who just need something different or need something more, and just trying to tailor how we're working with them. So that form of collaboration is always really positive and supportive of our students. And I'll take the next slide, Renee, that, the way that emotions matter at school really shows up in different forms. So Listen with Love is our first community agreement that is, trickles through all of our classrooms, TK through 8th. And so it's a principle that really all kids can hear and understand, and that we're all working on daily in the classroom when we're listening to a peer, when we're trying to find that sort of fundamental kindness and humanity that we want to be showing up with. You can see different visuals. We're really building vocabulary around emotional experiences. That's our feelings wheel. These are kimochis that you might see on the right. And then just, across our curriculum, I would say social emotionally, the things that really hold, one around mindfulness and movement. Movement in the body is just part of every classroom experience, whether it's a body break, or our teachers just finding different ways to help our kiddos kind of find either the increased arousal or activation that they need to be engaging, or maybe it's something that's a little bit calmer. So whether it's a child who may need, noise canceling headphones, or another child who may work better listening to some calm music, and then taking frequent body breaks and having different types of seating for kids who are more active in their learning. And then identity and belonging is just a theme throughout our whole curriculum, where we're helping children really feel settled in themselves and know who they are. And then also from that place, being able to create that sense of inclusion and belonging that we really value and center as a community. So I will turn it back to you, Renee, but I can just say that, we would look forward to any more questions or offering more information as you get to know Prospect Sierra.
Thank you, Sophia, and thank you everyone who's spoken so far. Welcome. My name is Renee Thompson. I'm the Director of Enrollment and Outreach here at Prospect Sierra. I work with Amy and Beth. Hopefully you've seen our snapshot on the website or even through some of the communications we've sent you. I wanted to just give you a quick overview of the many talented faculty and staff we have here. So you've heard from our homeroom teachers, and we have 2 teachers in every homeroom. So TKK, 1st through 4th, and our students also transition among all of these wonderful specialists. So there are 2 teachers in art, Remy and Anya. We have CoLab, that's Gil. CoLab is like a makerspace, and library, and their spaces are right next to each other. We have drama and music with Matt and Kelly. Physical education, we have Larissa, who teaches TK through 1st grade, and Jay, who teaches 2nd through 4th grade physical education. Science and garden, eco-literacy is really important to us. We have Melody and Shayna. And then Spanish, we have Maria, who works with all of our students. And as a former parent at Prospect Sierra, EP, that after-school program is core. And this is our director of EP, Ashley. So these are some of the people you will meet on tour. They might be with their students and busy, but we wanted to make sure you had a glimpse of who they are. So part of this conversation, as you look at schools and really just get a peek, a window in, we want you to hear from parents. The parent perspective is key. They're not on our payroll. You know, they're the ones who are really going to tell us about quality control. And we have 2 parents here this morning. We have Michael and Zubin, who are here to share their story. So we'll start with you, Michael, and we appreciate your time.
Thanks. It's good to be here. My name's Michael Boroff, and we have a son, Nico, who is currently in 1st grade. He started at Prospect actually in TK. So he's in his 3rd year now at Prospect Sierra. And I think when we were making the decision to join Prospect, you've heard, I think, throughout the presentations, the focus on values. And I think, well, academics are really important. We want our kids to be really good human beings who see themselves as part of a community, and moving out of the me into the we. And I think Prospect does that in every single thing that it does. The values that Nisa started out with are just infused in every interaction the teachers have with the kids, what they promote amongst the community of kids and parents at Prospect. And it's amazing when you go on campus and you see these 3rd and 4th graders talking to you, these incredibly mature, considerate, thoughtful human beings, leading morning meetings on Friday for the whole school, just watching as these kids develop into the kind of people our world needs so much more of. And I think that was a huge draw for us, and a huge draw that keeps us there. We actually moved quite a bit away in the middle of kindergarten and have made a lot of sacrifices to keep Nico there because it's such a good fit. And I think even when he's having his struggles and difficult times, the way his teachers see him and respond to those challenges feel so good. They always see the best in him and help him to continue to grow in the ways that we really would like him to. And so it's just been an environment in which he's thrived. And I think the community of parents there often choose Prospect for the same reason. And so it's just really great to be around the other parents of the kids as well, because we have just a similar perspective and similar values around the way we want to engage as human beings. And so I just really appreciate Prospect fostering that in our son.
Thank you so much. I'm passing it to you, Zubin.
Hi guys, my name is Zubin, and we've been part of the Prospect Sierra family for about 3 years now, and we have 2 kids, one in 1st grade and one in 2nd, and they both started in kindergarten. I just wanted to share my experience on how we decided on Prospect Sierra, because it's interesting, and it's the same kind of path of why we continue. When we were looking for a school for our kids, quite honestly, we were like, well, we want the best, right? What options do you have? Give me the best one. I want the best option. Okay, and then through the process, you realize, well, what do you really mean? I mean, what if the best one is like 5 hours away? Okay, well, clearly that's not what we mean. We want the best commute. We want diversity at the school. the ratings, reviews, class size, curriculum. Yeah. Someone else comes and say, hey, what about the facilities? Yeah. We want the best one of that too. Community? Yeah. Best. Well, I want the best of everything, right? And then you start realizing, man, this is going to be hard to decide. How are you going to know? Like, how are you going to know ahead of time if you're making the right decision or not? So we asked other parents. They're like, we love the school. I'm like, all right, well, that's good to hear, but is it helpful? Because, all right. And then so we consumed everything that the school put out, read everything, listened to everything, did it twice. And then through the process, started thinking like, are we ever really going to know ahead of time? Like, are we going to be 100% sure? Is it true? Like, how will you know? And then we went to campus. And then it's just like, it all made sense. It clicked. You got goosebumps. You walk around, you're like, yeah, this totally makes sense. I could see our kids here. I could see them laughing. I could see them running around, having a great time. This like, it just, everything clicks when you go onto campus and you see the experience that other people are going through. And then through the process, as the kids go to school, you realize, you know what? We're not trying to pick the best school that matches all of what we want. In reality, we needed to pick the school that was best for them. And how do we know what was best for them if we didn't actually know who our kids were or who they were developing into? Our kids are happy to go to school every single day. I know it sounds a lot. I'm not going to say it's always about going to class. They love seeing their friends. But in the last 3 years, we have not had many days where the kids are like, I don't want to go to school. They want to go and they're happy. They're late sometimes, but we get there. When we walk on campus, the kids are like, not just our kids, all these kids are like rock stars. They're walking around, they're like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Happy. They're running off with friends. And not just kids in their classes. They know the kids who are younger than them. They know the kids who are older than them. They know the teachers who, for grades they're not even in yet. And when they walk in the door, it's like they walk into their second home. They are comfortable. And then you start thinking like, oh my God, these are the fundamentals that you need. Kids need to be happy, safe, secure for them to even be able to crack a book and learn something new. And so them being happy and them feeling comfortable in school, I mean, that's really what it's all about. Another thing is, and I think most kids do this, but our kids have no shortage of the tools to tell us how they're feeling, what they're thinking. Like, they talk a lot, but I never have to worry about asking them about something that's going on at school, because, you know, there's the app and the notifications and the emails, and you can talk to teachers, you talk to other parents, like, and the kids come and they tell us how they feel, what they think about stuff. They've got all the tools. And I start realizing, I didn't teach you any of that stuff. You're learning stuff on your own at school, and you know all these words and all these, like, they can tell us what's on their mind without any struggle. I think that's a testament to the school. And you know, and I'll leave you with this, because this was really a big part of our experience. I thought that we were trying to pick a school that was best for our kids to be successful students. What I didn't realize, which was embedded in there, was that the school was going to help my wife and I become better parents to our kids, because now we can see, oh, these are our kids. This is where they're at. This is what they're struggling at. And that's conveyed back to us so we can go meet them. You know, we use that term, meet them at their level. I mean, like, everything is embedded into knowing where they are, what they're struggling with, what their likes are, meeting them at that level, seeing them in a different light. And the school's helping us do that. And then so that we can approach and support them in a uniform way that's happening both at school and both at home. And then these kids are like kites who catch the wind, and then they just take off. And so that's why we keep coming back.
Thank you, Zubin. Thank you, Michael. You're hired, both of you. You're hired. There we go. No, we don't pay anyone. Just letting you know that, families out there. But we do ask our families to say, join us for these admission outreach events to tell us what you have experienced, where are opportunities to grow, because a school is a second home. It is a community, and it's got great leadership at this time with people like Kisei and Nisa and Sophia and Kyla, and just people who love being here. So it's close to 2 o'clock. I'm going to wrap us up on, okay, you've listened to our presentation. I'm curious. I want to know more. Tell me those facts, Renee. So Prospect Sierra, if you've been to our campus, we'd love to have you again. If you haven't been to campus, we want you to come. So here's a little background about us. Prospect Sierra is actually 2 campuses in 1 school. We're located in El Cerrito, about 1.5 miles apart. Our elementary campus is on Tapscott Avenue, and we call it Tapscott. And our middle school campus, we call Avis, and it's on Avis Drive. So our families come from everywhere, as Michael referenced, 17 different cities. We come from as far north as Fairfield to Alameda to San Francisco to Arenda. It's a commitment, definitely, as a former Prospect Sierra parent myself. And it's been something that families prioritize, and we really appreciate that. Our community, we try to really reflect the East Bay as best as we can. And that's not just racial, ethnic, that's family makeup, structure, international experience, multiple languages. Really, we know that when you're in a community of diversity in all kinds of ways, it raises the level of communication, of flexibility, of collaboration. And so we want that for our students here. And one hard part that many families go, I don't know, Renee, Beth, Amy, I don't know if we can do this financially. We hear you loud and clear, which is why we do have our flexible tuition program, which budgets over $2.7 million into our families. We invest in you, you invest in us, and we want to make sure that families can be mindful that they can consistently enroll every year. So for flexible tuition, we all have different financial resources, and there are programs that can help support bridging the gap to afford an education like this, because we know knowledge is freedom. And then overall, now that you've heard about us and it sounds a little pie in the sky, are people happy? Do they stay? And the answer is yes. We have less than 5% attrition every year. So when families are coming to us at TKK in 6th grade, but also in different grade levels, and yes, we have space available for the coming year for 1st through 4th grade, is our families stay. They feel supported for their children, academically, socially, as well as financially. So when you make a commitment here, it is a mutual partnership between the two. And so while you're on this presentation, our entry points in the good old days, you'd only have maybe 2. You would have kindergarten and 6th grade, where we would expand from 5th grade of 48 to 72 in 6th grade. And then 5 years ago, we began our TK program with our 2 fabulous teachers who are in there, and it is thriving. So if you're interested in our TK program, we're glad you're here on this call, but there is also a TK information session where you get to hear specifically from Teacher Wendy about the kids in the program that we have. Kindergarten through 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. We really want you to come on campus. As Zubin said, when you're in the community, and for any school, we want you to step in and go, can I envision not just the grown-up me, but the children in my family being served here? And it's hard to know. And that's why we are here with you during this admissions process. So you're going to get a lot of communication from me, Beth, and Amy about what can we do to help you. And it truly is about finding a good match for you. So what's your job? What's next? Visit us. If you haven't already, go on to Ravenna. And I know Ravenna is not the best in terms of like easy on the eyes, but it's where you can book all your appointments, where you will get reminders. And the big thing to do is, if you haven't already, schedule a campus visit. You definitely, if you're here for the elementary program, book an appointment. And if you're interested in the middle school, we also have things called Saturday strolls, where you can come with your whole family and visit our elementary campus, our middle school campus, so that you can have the long view. Next, I would encourage you to come to the online information session. We decoupled both the tour and the Q&A because often you run out of time for your Q&A portion. And so schedule your tour, come and visit, write down those questions, and then you're going to get to connect with Nisa, with Kisei, other members of our community to ask those particular questions you want to know more about. So I would say make sure you go on to Ravenna for that. Here are those additional events that we mentioned. And we offer events not because you have to come. It's because maybe you need to make a connection in a different way that might help you with your decision making. So these are examples of what we have coming up. One that I would highlight, which is really fun. If you can't tell, Nisa's a lot of fun. She loves to talk about everything. If you're a Warriors fan, come with it. She loves that. If you're a Beyonce fan, come with it. We love that as well. But we also love talking about education, strategic vision, where we care about investing financially in our current faculty and staff so that they can be sustained and be educated and care about being a teacher in this time. So come to one of those coffees. It's in person. We provide the libations, and we have 2 coming up. They are on different campuses, so our Tapscott or our Avis Middle School campus, but any grade is welcome. And that might be a way to get a peek into seeing maybe the middle school. Last but not least, let's go. If you are ready to go ahead and explore, or if you know that you're ready to go ahead and start the admissions process, where do we go? We go back to Ravenna, and that's where we have our online application for the admissions process, TK through 7th grade. We're here to help you, of course, and there are step-by-step checklists to make sure you're on the right path. Flexible tuition. As I mentioned, I'm a former parent. My son Cody graduated in 2017, and I was a parent first before a staff member. And the way that my family were able to step up to this was partnering and being a part of the flexible tuition program. So I care. I know what it's about. If you have any questions confidentially to ask Renee, this is where we're at financially. Where do you think we'll fall? Please, please, please reach out to us. Come to a workshop. It's important to us. And I also want families to know that if you're applying for flexible tuition, the admissions committee has no idea. We're really focusing on kids who are mission matched with us, who would thrive here and do well. And we've been fortunate enough, again, to have 1 in 3 students be a part of our flexible tuition program to be here every year. Those applications are due in January. So January 19th, we like them earlier just to make sure that we can check off those things and get things scheduled and visits for you. But definitely reach out to us and ask us any questions you may have. And I'm going to end with this great picture of Zubin's daughter. Zubin, I love your daughter, in music class, having a good old time. And so we want you to come on by, visit us in person, see what Prospect Sierra has to offer, and we look forward to meeting you. So thank you for spending the afternoon with us. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Bye. Bye, team.
Bye.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Renee. Bye, y'all.
Bye, folks.
Thanks, everyone.